I will say this, because I think sometimes maybe to an outsider, it can be difficult to understand how people with, our worldview view the role of women.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this, some of the most courageous people I follow on social media are Christian women.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them are stay-at-home moms. Many of them are homeschool moms. I mean, they have and show a lot more courage than some of the guys I follow. Even some of the Christian men, to be
Right.
quite frank, especially the ones with the largest platforms. They are committed to their families. They love and respect their husbands. They love and protect their children, and they realize something that both the broader culture and much of the church does not realize, which is that the people who are shaping the hearts and minds of the next generation have the most important job in any society.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we give lip service to that in our culture.
Right.
We'll say, oh, teachers are the greatest, appreciate teachers, until a woman says she wants to stay home and teach her own children.
Right.
Then it's, oh, you're wasting your college degree and you could be doing more with your life.
Right.
But I think,
right.
This is why, women need to know their Bible. Christian women need to know their Bibles,
Mm-hmm.
right? They need to be as sort of thoroughly familiar with the gospel and the scriptures and
Right.
the different genres and what it all means and applying it practically and apologetics and so on and so forth as their husbands, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they have an extremely important job, and
because they're training children. Yeah, women need to be educated. Sometimes,
correct.
in my realm, which is very, very conservative and patriarchal and post-mill and theonomic, I'm all the things you're not supposed to be. I would be all those things. 1689, confessional, congregational, the whole nine yards. But in my world, sometimes people are like, man, well, should women really go to college and rack up, $60,000 of debt and bring that into the marriage when all they really want to do, is be a faithful wife? And we're talking about a Christian woman and, and a mother. And I would completely agree and say, yeah, that's foolish to rack up all that debt. However, that doesn't mean that no woman should go to college because primarily women are going to be educators. They're going to be educating their children. And so we want them to be educated. We want brilliant mothers who are faithfully training their children and raising them up and teaching them. And it's what you said, you said the teachers, it's like, oh, well, the teachers, we praise them for shaping the next generation. And the old adage was the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world.
Rules
right?
the world, right.
And we still praise that hand. We just think now that it belongs to the state.
The state.
Instead of the home.
Correct.
So the hand, we still say the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. And that hand is attached to the arm of the state.
Correct.
Because now we outsource the rocking of the cradle. We outsource, and our government wants to extend that as far as it can. Let's get 2 extra years before school starts, state school with, that state-funded childcare, and then let's, college keeps extending further and further. People were just like career students who never actually joined the work, and so it's just all within the state. So we still recognize as a culture that those who are shaping the next generation are vitally important. We just don't think that shaping primarily should take place with families. We think it should primarily take place with the state.
And then we wonder why the world is looking the way it is, right? Because as you said, we've outsourced that job to the state. But the state is not satisfied with rocking the cradle. Mm-hmm. The state wants to reach into the crib and touch your child.
Yeah,
which is why they're pushing gender ideology on children as young as 3 years old. In DC, you can start pre-K at 3 years old. I've seen materials, and I've posted some, online, where they talk about introducing transgenderism to 3-year-olds using, a YouTube video of this. It's a show called I Am Jazz, of this teenage boy thinks he's a girl, got all sorts of surgery, so on and so on and so forth. And then the lesson plan says, introduce the terms transgender and non-binary. This is for 3-year-olds.
Wow.
So the state is not just content to rock the cradle.
Right.
They want to touch your child. That is if your child actually makes it here alive, because now the state is saying,
that's right,
up until your child draws his first breath, maybe, if you're not sure whether you want it, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the left's play on abortion has moved from endangering the life of the mother to I want to say it's the terms that I've seen is like life or health.
Right.
And certainly health can mean mental health.
Exactly. That
Which
includes
could mean,
psychological, mental health, and what, yeah.
and that opens the door for, oh, I just don't think I can do it. I'm going to be depressed, so on and so forth. So we have allowed, I think, bad theology, and I'm talking about Christians now, have allowed the arms and tentacles of the state to extend further and further into our lives. The way I put it on the show with Jason Whitlock is, Uncle Sam has morphed into Daddy Sam.
Yeah,
right.
You're right.
He no longer stays in the basement. He, stay a couple weeks at a time.
Right.
He is taking up. This is his house now. Or so he thinks.
Right.
And he said, "I've sent your dad away because the scriptures say if you want to, rob a house, you got to tie up the strong man.
That's right.
I've sent your dad away, and I'm the captain now." Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, COVID has certainly revealed this, have a desire to be led. Mm-hmm. As much as they talk about, they don't like they don't like rules, they don't like authority. The last 2 years have made it crystal clear that some people have a desire to be ruled. Mm-hmm. It's just a matter of who is going to be doing the ruling. And where I live, my wife and I, we took the kids to the playground the other day, and I'd say at least 70% of the kids, the children outdoors, are still wearing masks. Right?
Not here. Not in Texas, man. But go ahead. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. But you're right. People have lost their minds.
Yeah.
People have lost their minds.
And I think, going back to the column, one of the reasons I wanted to write it is because, what started with hate the sin, love the sinner, right, and tolerance has moved to love is love and complete affirmation as it relates to all things related to sex, sexuality, marriage, and family.
Right.
And we're at a point now where the nuclear family, the way we've thought about it, I feel like we're in a state of fissure, right? Where the whole thing is falling apart. Mm-hmm. And the energy that's going to be released from that is something that none of us, I think, really understand the true impact of. And one of the things that happened last week, and I talked about it in the piece, with Dave Rubin and
right, yeah.
Sort of, I don't want to say darling of the right, but certainly respected on the right, mm-hmm, a self-professed classical liberal who's gay, who was an atheist at one point, and says he's seeking now, grew up, as a secular Jew in New York. When he says that him and his quote unquote husband are expecting 2 babies, not twins, one in August, one in October. And you see conservatives and some self-professed Christians saying, congratulations, this is such a great thing. Mm-hmm. I think that really sent a shockwave through sort of the online conservative right. Mm-hmm. I think it was a necessary shockwave because it can be very tempting to associate conservatism with Christianity. Yeah. Now, to be fair, some of these people have never professed Christ.
Right.
So we projected things onto them that they never accepted on themselves. But I think every Christian conservative should be ready and willing to live as an outlaw, an outcast, and a renegade in the coming culture, because this is we see where the lines are going, and some of this is, some of us, even some believers, do not have sort of a fully orbed theology as it relates to some of these issues, right?
Mm-hmm. Wait. Real quick, before you go, do me a favor. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the bell so you'll be notified with all our new content as it comes out on a daily basis. And if you're willing to support this ministry, you can do so by going to rightresponseministries.com/donate. Thanks so much. God bless.